this video, we are going to take a look at the page editor. When you are looking at your dashboard, you can reach the page editor by going to Pages and either clicking Add New to create a new page, or to open an existing page in the editor, just click on the title, or you can click on Edit. Now, just so you understand, the page editor and the post editor are very, very similar. So once you get the hang of the page editor, you will see mostly the same tools in the post editor. Before we get started, I am actually in a fresh install of WordPress. So this is WordPress without any of the bells and whistles, no extra plugins, just a default theme, and this is what you get when you start a brand new WordPress installation. I want to show you this because on our website we are building, we have some additional tools that are coming from plugins and our theme, but I want to give you an idea of what just the bare bones WordPress core tools are like. And once you open up to the editor, you can see the main window here is where you will be adding your content. So when we jump into the page editor here, you can just start typing right away. And it's just like a word processor like you would be used to. But there's one thing that's different with the WordPress editor, and that is that it is block-based. We'll get into that in a little bit. I'm going to go over to another page I've already created that has some content already added to it. Okay, so before we dive in, there are a few things I want to share up front that I think will help set the stage for understanding and working in the page editor. First of all, to get out of the page editor, it's not always obvious, but you can click on this W. So if you come into this, you can always hit the back button on your browser, but you can also click the W, which will take you back to your list of pages. If you hover your mouse over any object, a small tooltip will appear, and that will help you have a clue as to what that item is. For example, toggle block inserter. So just as you're going around, if you're afraid to click on something, you can just hover over it. Not everything will have a little tooltip, but a lot of things do. I also want to point out, you will see a number of places that have the 3 dots here. That is called a kebab menu because it looks like a kebab on a skewer. Anytime you see one of these, you can click on it and it will show a contextual menu. So it will show you a menu specific to the element it is attached to. For example, the menu on the top right corner of the editor actually applies to this entire page. So this will offer additional options and settings for the page editor. You will also see little carrots like this, which can expand and collapse things or take you to additional settings as well. The block editor is somewhat of a newer update within the last few years. The original WordPress editor was much like a word processor, and actually there is a block called the classic block that brings back in the original classic WordPress editor. So years ago when people would build on WordPress, this is the toolbar they would get. And many people still prefer to work in this, but as we go, you will see that this does have some limitations. The new block editor expands to provide a lot more customization options, and it is a lot more versatile. The right sidebar contains 2 tabs, and you will see the page settings and the block settings. The page settings are settings that pertain to the entire page as a whole, where the block tab will show only the unique settings associated with the block that is currently active. This entire sidebar here can be toggled on and off with the gear icon. One place that you might find super helpful while you're working on a page is the list view. You can click this to toggle the list view on and off. So let's click it. On the list view, you will see a full outline of all of the blocks that are currently being used on your page. This icon here, it means this expands to show some nested blocks. So for example, this is a column block, which provides structure to content. And then within the column block, there is a single column. Within the single column, we have another content block. That can be a little confusing at first, and it takes a little bit getting used to this type of nested block that has multiple sections within it. But when you're in the main area here clicking around to make edits, you can see that on the left side, it is changing which block is selected. This can be helpful when you have more complex setups and need to click into just the right area. So if I need to edit this heading block, I can either click into the block area here, or I can click on the block from the list view. Okay, that's a little bit about helping us get around and finding our way around in the block editor. Let's talk about how to add blocks. So as you're going and typing into your document here, into your page, if you get to the end of a line and hit enter, it will create a new paragraph block. And as you can see on the left side on the list view, it is adding a new block each time I hit enter. If you want to add a different type of block, there are a few ways you can do that. And anywhere you see one of these pluses, this is going to be where you can add a new block. If you click the block inserter up here, this is a great way to see all of the blocks available. So if you click this, the left sidebar will change over to the block library. You can see all the blocks available here. You can search for a block here, and if you click on it, it will add it where the blue line is down here. You can see the blue line up here, and that is where this new block will go. Also, as you hover over, you can see a little preview to give you an example of what the block will look like. So let's click on the image, and then it gives me a few prompts to add the image. And there it is. Okay, so that's one way. Another way is by hovering over the editing area, or this can be a little tricky to get your mouse in just the right spot. But let me see if I can do it. There you go. So you can sort of place your mouse between two blocks, and it will show a plus there where you can insert a block in between. Okay. Or you can go to the bottom of your document, and the add block icon will appear at the very bottom as well. Here I'm just typing heading to search. Okay, and if I hit enter, it starts another paragraph block like I talked about, the default block. Now another way to add a block is actually explained right here in this little prompt. Type / to choose a block. This is another quick way to add a block. Whether or not you even know what block you're looking for, this is a quick way to access the blocks that you are frequently using, or to do a quick search. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click the /, and it opens up a prompt right away. And what I can do is I can select one of these if it's one of the blocks I need. Or if I'm looking for something specific, I can just type in the block name I want, and it acts like a search. So let's look for a YouTube. So I start typing U, and right away it already shows me YouTube. And then I can select this, and it will convert that block into a YouTube block. Okay, so let's say you want to remove some blocks. There are a few ways you can remove blocks as well. If you open the list view, you can just click on a block and type the delete button. That will remove it. You can look at these small menus here within the list view and find the remove option. So there's remove heading. Click on this. There's remove paragraph, remove image. Or you can also find this same option on the block toolbar itself. So here's the options on the block toolbar. Remove image. Okay, so that's adding and removing blocks and working with blocks.